Okay, here's the case study 3. So the first thing I did was I wrote down my treatment conditions. Maybe I should turn it this way. Okay. I wrote down my treatment conditions. I had 3 different treatments. One was no eyewitness, unrefuted eyewitness, and discredited eyewitness. And I just wrote down a couple of values, so I wouldn't keep going back and forth. And from there is when I started my process. The first thing I did was I wrote down my null and alternative hypothesis, saying that they are equal to each other, so there is no difference between the two. My alternative state that there is at least one group difference between the 3 treatment groups. Step 2, I did my degrees of freedom between treatments using the formula K minus 1. So since there were 3 treatments, it's just 3 minus 1, so I got 2 degrees of freedom. And I believe this is used as a numerator for when you use the F table. To get my degrees of freedom within the treatment, I used capital N minus K. So the total N was 48 plus 49 and plus 61. I got 158. So 158 minus 3 treatments, 155. So my degrees of freedom are 2 and 155. Using an alpha level of 0.005, I got 3.0544 from the table. From there, I listed my 3 sum of squares. I squared each sum and totaled those up to get the sum of squares within treatments to be 558. To get them some of the mean squared of within treatments, I did the 558 divided by 155, which was our degrees of freedom within treatments, and I got 3.6. The way I got my degrees of freedom within treatment is like the same as above. Just subtracted each score, minus 1. So I did the same thing over. To get the sum of squares between treatments, I used the sum of using the totals here for each column. I use those totals and square each value, divided it by n. The n's are here for each treatment. And I subtracted it from G, which is 680 squared over 158. Again, 158 was our capital N. To get a total of 24.01 for our sum of squares between treatments. Following that, I divided our sum of between treatments by 2, which was our original on the front. Sorry. The degrees of freedom of between treatments right here. That'll give you a total of 12.005. And to calculate your F value, it's basically just 12.005. The sum of the mean squared of between treatments over the sum of the mean squared within treatments. And my total is 3.33. So I decided to reject the null hypothesis because my F value was greater than my critical value. So that means there's at least one difference in between the group means. And for my APA style, I said the researchers examined whether or not eyewitnesses' statements influenced jurors' decisions in convicting someone guilty of a crime by testing for no eyewitness, unrefuted, and discredited eyewitness statements. There was a difference between groups. F, parentheses, 2, 155 equals 3.33, P less than 0.05.